This Marvel story is called The Origin of She-Hulk. When Jennifer Walters was a girl, she loved dolls and playing dress-up. But she loved other things too. Things that boys usually like. Things like baseball. Don't be stupid. Girls can't play baseball, the boys would say. Eventually, she stopped trying to join them. Boys didn't like it when Jen tried to play their games, and girls didn't like the fact that Jen wanted to play with boys. As she grew up, Jen became shy and quiet. She thought that if people got to know her, they wouldn't like her very much. So she mostly kept to herself. The one person Jen could be herself around was her cousin Bruce. Like Jen, Bruce was a quiet kid who kept to himself. Bruce was a few years older than Jen, but the two of them were close friends. And when they were together, they had nothing but fun. No matter how quiet Jen was, she was always ready to stand up for her favorite cousin in the world. Bruce would do the same for Jen. They protected each other. Bruce was the kind of kid others would pick on. But Jen, though quiet, was the type to never allow wrong to go unpunished. "You leave my cousin alone," she found herself saying to kids twice her size. "Yeah, who's gonna make me?" was usually the reply. "Stick around and you'll find out," Jen would answer, and she always found that the bullies would back off. "Dumb girl," they usually would say as they stomped away. "You're going to get hurt one day if you keep talking to bullies like that," Bruce told her. Jen shrugged. "Maybe," she said, "but at least I'll know I tried." "Tried what?" Bruce asked. "To stand up for myself, silly, and for any other innocent kid who gets picked on." Bruce smiled and shook his head. "I still think you're crazy," he said, laughing. But Jen wasn't dumb or crazy. She was smart and focused. And as she grew older, she knew she wanted to fight for others as a lawyer. Even though everyone told her that she was a silly dreamer, Jen studied hard and earned her degree. "I'm so proud of you, cuz," Bruce said as he hugged Jen at her graduation. "Not as proud as I am of you, Doc," Jen said to Bruce, who had recently become a doctor of science, studying gamma radiation. Bruce's job was so dangerous that an accident had caused him to change into a big, green, powerful, but uncontrollable hero called the Hulk anytime he was upset. But Jen's job was dangerous too. She spent her days arguing to put criminals behind bars, and one of these criminals was not very happy about it. One night, while Bruce was visiting Jen, a crook hid in the shadows and seriously hurt Jen. Bruce opened his medical bag and took out his instruments to help her. There was only one thing he can do, and only one way to save Jen. Bruce needed to use his skills as a doctor. He knew from when they were kids that he and Jen had the same blood type. He would give her his own blood to replace what she had lost. Bruce's plan worked. When Jen woke up, she found that Bruce made sure that she was safe in a hospital room. But she wasn't as safe as Bruce had hoped. The crook who tried to hurt Jen had pretended to be a doctor and found his way to her room. The crook planned to finish her off for good, but Jen recognized him and immediately felt threatened. Suddenly, she felt a rush of blood to her head, and then something happened. Jen felt more powerful than she ever had before. She knew right away that Bruce's blood had affected her strangely. Whatever had changed him in that gamma ray accident must have been transformed to her own body through his blood. She'd become a Hulk. Or as the criminal said, "You're a She-Hulk." Jen smirked. She kinda liked the sound of that. Jen heard the sirens outside the hospital room. She smashed through the wall to get to them quickly and hand over the criminal. "Here you go, officers. I found this man wandering around the hospital, pretending to be a doctor and trying to hurt a patient," Jen said. "You'll want to lock him up so he won't hurt anyone else." "That's Nick Trask," an officer said. "He's the most wanted man in Los Angeles." "Thank you, ma'am," another officer said. "But who are you?" "Just call me what he called me," Jen said. "Call me She-Hulk." And this Marvel story is called The Origin of She-Hulk.